Hi everyone, welcome back. In this video, we can understand how does a Spring Boot application work internally. We can understand run method internal execution flow. Okay, let's move to STSID. Let's create Spring Boot application. Here I'm creating application, file, new Spring Starter project. Here I'm giving application name is Spring Boot app. Simply I'm giving like this. Choosing Maven and Java version 17 and packaging as jar and selecting language as Java. And group ID, artifact ID, version, and package com.code based on it. Okay, click on next. As of now, I am not selecting any dependency here. Next, this is the full URL to download the application into the IDE. Finish. Now the application is getting created. This is Spring Boot app. Opening this application. SRC main Java. We have one package. Inside that one class is there. Application.java. This is start class of Spring Boot. That means Spring Boot execution will begin from this class. In this class, we have two concepts. That is Spring Boot application annotation. Second one is this run method. This Spring Boot application annotation is the combination of three annotations. Let's go inside this annotation. This Spring Boot application is combination of Spring Boot configuration, enable auto configuration, and @component annotation also. Here the Spring Boot execution starts with this annotation. It loads required dependencies using starters that are available in the class path and configure them automatically using @enable auto configuration annotation, and it scans the components using @component scan annotation. And we have another concept, that is SpringApplication.run method. This Spring application is the predefined class in the Spring Boot. Here run method is a static method that is present in the Spring application class. Let's go inside this run method. Control click. Here it is calling again run method. Control click. Again calling run method. Click. Let me maximize this window. This is run method. We can see the logic. We can say this is bootstrapping logic for the Spring Boot application. Here we have startup. Startup is equals to startup.create method is there. Here the startup is abstract static class. Let's go inside this class. In this class we have one field and three methods are available. These methods will identify the time taken to bootstrap the application. And we have one method that is called create. It has some logic, that is startup.class.getClassLoader, which is responsible to load required entities dynamically. And it returns logic like this. Alt left arrow to go back the previous class. We have one condition, that is this dot properties dot is register shutdown hook. If it is enabled, then our application execution will be terminated. And next one is create bootstrap context. It will return default bootstrap context. This method is used to set up a bootstrap context. It helps to prepare the environment before main application context is created. Then it will trying to use configurable application context. The reference variable as of now null. And next one is configure headless property. Spring Boot applications are almost always server side only, so they normally run in headless mode. By default it is true, and they are getting listeners which are available and starting those listeners. Next they are loading default application arguments. It will prepare environment. Go inside this prepare environment. This is the logic to create the environment for the application. Next one is print banner. It is responsible to print the banner on the console when we start the application, and we can see the Spring logo will be printed on the console. Okay, let's go inside this print banner method. Here we can turn off this banner also by setting banner mode to off, and we can choose our own customized banner also here. Next, create application context. This is main here. This method is responsible to start IOC container. If we are developing application using Spring framework, then we are responsible to start IOC container. But in Spring Boot, IOC container will start as part of a run method. Now we can see how the IOC container getting started. Let's go inside this method. The return type is configurable application context, returning this dot application context factory dot create, this dot properties dot get web application type. Based on the type of application, it will load the particular class. Let's go inside this method, and the return type is web application type. It is enum type. Let's go inside this. See, we have three types of enums. One is none, servlet, and reactive. We have one method that is deduced from class path. Here, the logic is getting executed to identify what class it has to load by using class util start is present method. And I'm opening pom.xml file. This is the default dependency. If you are not added any dependencies, this is the default dependency, that is Spring Boot starter. If the starter is available in the class path, then boot application will consider this application as standalone application. Go to Spring Initializer. Here I am choosing Spring Web dependency, and also I am choosing reactive dependency, Spring Reactive Web. Click on Explore. If you are having Spring Boot starter web starter in the class path, then it will create web application. If we are having Spring Boot starter web flags, then it will consider this application as reactive based application. Let me close this. If our application type is reactive, then it will load reactive web server application context class. If the application type is servlet, then it will load servlet web server application context class. If it is none, it will load annotation config application context class. That means standalone application. Here IOC will be started and it will prepare context required for the application, loggers getting started, and it will call runners also. Go inside these runners. We have two types of runners in Spring Boot. They are command line runner and application runner. Runners are used to execute the logic only one time once the application bootstrapping is completed. As part of run method, runners will be executed. Finally, it will returning context, that is configurable application context. This is all about a Spring Boot application internal flow.